Good day, everyone. Today we will be discussing about connective tissue. So the reference of this slide will still be your book of histology by Esteban. Okay, so connective tissue. Connective tissue is composed of cells and there's what we call an extracellular matrix, no? Aside from those cells, no, there's an extracellular matrix characterized by an abundance of extracellular material and a relative paucity of cells. So all of the connective tissue in the body are derived from mesoderm, except for some in the head that are derived from the ectoderm. So connective tissue, we can classify them into two major groups. You have your connective tissue proper and those specialized types of connective tissue, example your cartilage, bone, blood, hematopoietic tissue. So first, we will be going to discuss about your connective tissue proper. So your connective tissue would be found all over your body. So they will act as a glue that binds body parts together. So for me, minsan gina-imagine ko siya as parang hangin, no? Sa ano mang nag-i-exist dito sa mundong ito, no, na matter. So it forms the stroma, which means supporting framework. So on the other hand, the parenchyma refers to the functional elements of the tissue or organ. So other functions of your connective tissue would include the following. First is it acts as an avenue for the passage of your blood vessels and nerves, no? And they serve as the venue for the exchange of gases and substances between blood and basic tissues. And they can provide arena needed to defend the body against invading organism. So, ayan. No, so, ang connective tissue, muna siya ka ng, sa una, ginahimagine ako siya as hangin or space na nag-occupy sa, hangin na nag-occupy sa space. No? So, connective tissue matrix. So, first is we have your ground substance. This is an amorphous, homogeneous, transparent, and hydrated gel. It consists mainly in water that is stabilized by proteoglycans, hyaluronic acid, mineral salts, and glycoproteins. Next is we have your proteoglycans, no? These are main structural constituents and are responsible for the gelatinous character of the ground substance of connective tissue. So, kung para siyang gelatin, no? The proteoglycans should be responsible for it. Next is your glycosaminoglycans or your GAG. They are attached covalently in irradiating substances. Example, your hyaluronic acid. They are the most abundant GAG in the ground substance of the connective tissue. So, diba? That's why kuan siya sa ubang products, yung hyaluronic acid. So, connective tissue matrix. So, first is we have your extracellular fibers. So, these are responsible for the supportive function of the connective tissue. So, you have three forms of your extracellular fibers. You have your collagen, your elastic, and your reticular. Your collagen, these are fibers that are present in all connective tissue, although in different amounts. So, of course, they are made of your collagen. And your collagenous connective tissue is the most commonly occurring type of connective tissue in the body, the main extracellular fibers. So, in various parts of your body, there are so many types of collagen. May it be type 1, type 2, type 3. And pag may lacking ka congenitally, no? For example, si patient may sakit siya na hindi siya na makapag-process ng hindi siya makaproduce ng collagen type 3, no? So, mag-manifest siya as a disease. Tapos, ang iba, may deficiency sila sa enzyme to produce collagen, no? So, they will have diseases. So, collagen fibers are colorless in vivo. And when present in abundant amounts, as in like tendons, no? Pag buksan mo, mag-dissect ka ng tendon, diba? They impart a white color. So, they are 2 to 10 UM in diameter, appears pink in hematoxylin eosin prep because they are acidophilic. So, when you go to histopath, you will appreciate, no, if something is acidophilic and basophilic and what color will they manifest. So for your collagen fibers in H&E stain, they will appear pink because they are acidophilic. So they are viewed under light, they can be viewed under the light microscope, and the most common types of collagen, ang usually inaaral lang is your types 1, 2, and 3. So your collagen fibers, they are made up of collagen type 1. And collagen fibers are slightly flexible but they are inelastic. Okay, so there is a difference between flexibility and elasticity. So your collagen fibers are slightly flexible but they are inelastic. So formation of collagen fibers, so this is more on sa biochem na, no? So just know that your pro collagen, this is the precursor of your collagen fiber. So it is synthesized by fibroblasts and mesenchymal cells. The matrix of the cartilage and bones, they also contain your collagen fibers, and in this tissue, pro collagen is synthesized by cells called your chondroblast and osteoblast. So, di ba? Pag meron ng suffix na blast, no? Usually, sila ang mga pasiugda. Okay, then your tropocollagen are formed from your 3-pro-collagen. This will aggregate to form collagen microfibrils. Collagen microfibrils will group together in parallel fashion to form your collagen fiber. So, just remember, pro-collagen, the precursor of collagen fiber, then the tropocollagen are formed from 3-pro-collagen, and sila yung nag-aggregate to form your collagen microfibrils. Then, those collagen microfibrils will group together in parallel fashion to form your collagen fibers. Next is your elastic fibers. So these are fine fibers that are average 1.0 UM in diameter. And pag elastic, no, usually naalala ko siya kasi they impart a yellow color pag fresh tissue. They are highly insoluble protein that is responsible for the elasticity of elastic fibers. And they are resistant to boiling and hydrolysis by acids and can be hydrolyzed by elastase. So, formation of elastic fibers. So, first is your elastogenesis. They secrete microfibrils, then aggregate to form bundles. Then, we have your tropoelastin. This is the precursor protein of elastin. Elastin that forms the elastic lamellae in arteries is synthesized by your smooth muscle cells. Okay, next is your reticular fibers. These are also made up of collagen, more on the type 3 collagen. So they are very fine, 0.5 to 2 UM in diameter, and they tend to branch anastomose. Ayan, oh. So they are referred to as argyrophilic fibers, and they react positively with periodic acid shift reagent. So parati to marinig sa boards din. No, the reticular fibers, they react positively with the periodic acid shift reagent. So, ma-appreciate nyo lang to sa histopathology. So, for the formation of reticular fibers, they are the same as collagen fibers, but the precursors are synthesized and excreted into intercellular matrix by specialized fibroblasts, which we call the reticular cells. So, cells in your connective tissue, they can be categorized into resident cells, yung mga nag-permanently stay sa connective tissue. Where your visiting cells, no, they are transient, pwede sila maglaag-laag. So, first, your resident cells. Your mesenchymal cells, no, muna sila ang mga ancestors, kumbaga. They are multipotential stem cells. They are the stem cells of most connective tissue, like your fibroblasts and fibrocytes, no, reticular cells, adipose cells, reticular cells. They are abound in the embryo and in the umbilical cord. So, in light microscopy, they cannot be distinguished from fibroblasts. So, pag electron, meron na, no, they have coarser chromatin and less developed cytoplasmic organelles from fibroblasts. Next is your fibroblast and fibrocyte. So they are different, no? The fibroblast and fibrocyte. So the fibroblast, they are the most abundant cells in the most connective tissue kasi sila ang responsible for producing and maintaining most extracellular components of connective tissue. They synthesize organic compounds and precursors of collagen and elastic fibers, and they are capable of mitosis. While ang fibrocytes, no, active masyado si fibroblast, dami siyang pulos. Pero si fibrocytes, no, they are considered idle or resting. They are smaller and have fewer processes than fibroblasts. So cytoplasm are acidophilic and the nucleus are compact and dark, and they are also called your reticular cells. Okay, next is we have your reticular cells. So in your reticular cells, hello po, good evening. Yes po. Pang trans out, sir. Sige po. Thank you po. Okay, next is your reticular cells. They are Reticular cells synthesize the precursor of type 3 collagen that are responsible, di ba, maalala niyo ang reticular fibers. They usually are composed of type 3 collagen. So, your reticular cells, ang ginagawa nila is silang nagka-synthesize ng precursor, no? Ang ingredient to make the type 3 collagen. So, they are slightly larger than your typical fibroblasts and they are most numerous cells in the reticular tissue. So, next is macrophages. So, at this point in time pa lang, dapat ma-memorize nyo na, no? Ano ang tawag ng macrophages pag andyan sila in the different parts of your body? So, macrophages, no? These are phagocytes. So, when you see phagocytes, hold on. Okay. So, sorry. So, phagocytes, no, there is a certain process sa inyong body, no? Malaman nyo lang yan sa immunology. There is a protective, no? Unsa pag-protect sa imong body sa imong self nga. Na yung mga cells sa imong body nga, pwede mo kaon og mga foreign bodies or mga bacteria or anything na pwede maging harmful sa imuha. And these are derived from your monocytes. So, in different places sa imong body, we call them with different names. So, when you say your skin, no, we call those macrophages as Langerhans cells. Nervous tissues, we call them microglia cells. Your bone, they are called as your osteoclast. In your connective tissue, we call them as histiocytes. And in your liver, we call them your Kupffer cells. So, your macrophages in light microscopy, the cytoplasm is slightly basophilic and appears frothy. They ingest and destroy not only bacteria and exogenous particulate, but also your dead or dying cells at saka yung mga patay na cells, no? Mga wala na sila pulos. So, also classified either as your resident or inflammatory cells. So, your resident, those inhabit a given site and they are not immunologically active. While your inflammatory, they can be immunologically active, no? Kailangan sila ng stimulus, kailangan nila na imukuhit sa ilaha. That's why, kailangan pa nilang stimulus, that's why they are immunologically active. Next is your plasma cells. Plasma cells, they are slightly bigger than your RBC. They are strongly basophilic cytoplasm and eccentric nucleus. So the nucleus has a clock face or cartwheel appearance. So one example would be your B lymphocytes. They produces antibody and has a lifespan of 10 to 20 days. Okay, so next is your leukocytes or white blood cells, the nucleated cells in body. So this is very important kasi ito talaga yung binibilang natin during na CBC. So when the machine goes wrong, you should know, no, anong itsura ni neutrophils, anong itsura ni eosinophils, anong itsura ni basophils, monocytes, and lymphocytes. And dapat marunong kayo magbilang kung ilan ang estimated neutrophils, ratio ng neutrophils to eosinophils to basophils to lymphocytes and monocytes. Okay, so leukocytes, they are produced in the bone marrow except your lymphocytes. And in connective tissue, they exhibit amoeboid movement. So next is so guys, importante ito ha, malaman nyo, itong mesenchymal cells, no, mga ancestors, fibroblasts, ang say difference sa fibrocytes, no, fibroblasts, aktibo ang fibrocytes, they are idle or resting lang. Reticular cells, no, they synthesize the ingredient for type 3 collagen that would make up your reticular fibers, no. Macrophages, ang say different names niya in different sites. Plasma cells, no, actually naaman siya ka ng pathway, pero more on hima na to siya. Basta kabalo lang, you should know no unsa sila, naka-idea unsa sila. Then leukocytes are white blood cells, no. Kani familiar na ninyo sa pag-identify sa neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils, monocytes, and lymphocytes. Okay, types of connective tissue. So the connective tissue in the body are characterized based on their cellular and extracellular composition into numerous types. Okay, so first is we have your collagenous, your adipose, your reticular, elastic, and mucous. So we group those collagenous connective tissue into two. We have your loose and your dense connective tissue. So your first is we have your dense. So they are characterized by scanty intercellular ground substance. So we have your dense irregular. So dense irregular, the collagen fiber run in various direction. While your regular, they are arranged in a pattern. So ang dense irregular, no, kalat-kalat ang iyahang fibers. Pero pag naka-arrange siya into a definite pattern, naging siya pattern, dense regular. So, yan lang siya ka self-explanatory. While your loose collagenous connective tissue, otherwise called as your areolar connective tissue or areolar tissue, they are characterized by high vascularity and abundance of extracellular substance. So, basta gan siya ganap and highly vascular sila. So, first is we have your adipose tissue. So, your adipose tissue, no, once makakita ka ani, no, mga taba, no, your adipose cells, no, a connective, in which the predominant cellular element is the fat, no, the fat of adipose cells. So, klaro naman na fat siya, diba? So, they represents the largest energy storage site of the body. Kaya ka naman good sa adipose cells na sila yung mga mitochondria. And for male, no, 12 to 14%, while females 20 to 25%. So functions, they serve as storage, no, thermal insulator. So thermal insulator, bas madami kang taba, di ba? Bas igang. And they can be also a shock absorber mechanically. So madami din tayong nasa-store, no, as we know sa biochem sa imong adipose tissue. So there are two types of your adipose tissue. First is your yellow or white. They store lipid in the form of a single fat vacuole, while your brown, they store lipids in the form of droplets. So white adipose tissue synthesize and secrete hormones, notably your leptin or your satiety hormone. Your adipose tissue is also considered as an endocrine tissue, and the main function of fat cells in the brown adipose tissue is to produce heat, no? That's your thermogenesis. Okay. So reticular fibers, they form the stroma of supporting framework. Especially makita mo siya sa mga liver, myeloid tissue, pancreas, lymph tissues, and organs. Mucous tissue. So, eto siya, no, pag mucous, imagine mo sa mucus, medyo jelly-like ground substance. So this is mainly composed of hyaluronic acid, and this is common in the embryo. So for example, no, what we call the connective tissue na nakikita sa umbilical cord, that's your Wharton's jelly. So ayun lang. Thank you very much, and don't forget to read your book. Thank you.